Welcome to the presentation of sports in the USA. The table of contents. In this presentation the following items will be discussed. We will start with the 4 pillars in American sports. Secondly, we move on to America's favorite pastime, baseball. Like every one of the 4 pillars, there is a slide that discusses the sport itself. After baseball, American football will be discussed. Then is basketball, and last but not least, ice hockey. I will finish this presentation with the 4 championship trophies within the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars. With the 4 pillars we mean the 4 biggest sports in the United States. The most important one is baseball, also known as America's favorite pastime. The highest league that a baseball player can achieve is called a major league. If you're not as talented to play in the majors, you might play in a lower division called minor league. The logo of Major League Baseball is always to be found on the back of team caps. American football, a sport that is watched by over 100 million people during Super Bowl Sunday. Many colleges deliver players after their graduation to the NFL, the National Football League. Basketball is an indoor sport played by almost every high school and college in the USA. Just like baseball and football, colleges and high schools can earn a lot of money and status by making it far into the championship series. Players like LeBron James play for big pro teams that come together under the name National Basketball Association, NBA. The last pillar is ice hockey. Ice hockey is played less than the other sports, but it's still a big game and mostly played in northern states. Their league is called NHL, National Hockey League. Baseball. Baseball, as stated earlier, is called America's favorite pastime. Some famous players you might have heard of are Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio and Derek Jeter. But there are also quite a few Dutch players that play at the highest level in American baseball. As a matter of fact, they are the best paid Dutch sports stars in the world. We have Xander Bogaerts, a shortstop who plays for the Boston Red Sox, Kenley Jansen, a pitcher who plays for the LA Dodgers, Jonathan Schoop, a second baseman who started his career at the Baltimore Orioles, Jurickson Profar, who has played for the Texas Rangers and Oakland A's, and then there's Didi Gregorius, who recently has been traded from the New York Yankees to the Philadelphia Phillies. And last but not least, Andrelton Simmons. He might be the most successful Dutch baseball player that currently is still playing. Since baseball is so big in the United States, there are a lot of movies in which baseball takes an important place. In the following list, 8 of America's biggest baseball movies. 42, which is on Netflix at the moment, tells you about the life of Jackie Robinson. Trouble with the Curve, a film by Clint Eastwood. Field of Dreams, one of my favorite, where Kevin Costner plows under his cornfields to make a baseball field for famous players who played when he was a young boy. The Rookie, starring Dennis Quaid. For Love of the Game, also with Kevin Costner, who himself was quite a good ball player back in the days. And then there's Bull Durham, Moneyball with Brad Pitt, and Angels in the Outfield with the very young Joseph Gordon-Levitt. The game of baseball. Baseball is a sport that is played by 2 teams with each 9 players. These players have to bat but also field, so they have to be good at both hitting a ball, catching a ball and throwing a ball. In baseball there always has to be one winner, so there's no ties. Some words that are used a lot in baseball are home plate, the place where the batter stands to hit the ball and has to come back after passing 3 bases. The diamond, which is the name for a baseball field because it has the shape of a diamond. Strike is a ball that the player needs to hit, and in baseball there are no referees but umpires. With baseball you can also make a lot of money. The highest paid player is called Bryce Harper. He signed a $330 million contract, and that means he earns $36 million for 162 games. American football. American football has become bigger and bigger over the last few decades. It is played from September to late November or early December. Some famous players are Brian McKinney, Michael Orr, about whom there's been made a movie called The Blind Side, Tom Brady, one of the most successful quarterbacks in the NFL, and Colin Kaepernick, who is famous for kneeling down when the national anthem is played. This as a protest against the Trump administration. A lot of teams have an animal in their name. There are the Colts, Dolphins, Panthers, Lions, Bears, Falcons, Seahawks, Ravens, Eagles, Rams, and so on. American football is officially a man's sport, but the last couple of years female football has become more and more popular. And another reason why a lot of American men watch football is because of the cheerleaders, pretty girls who cheer on their team. The game American football. In football there are 11 players on a 122-yard field. It is played with an oval ball that each team has to try to bring to the end zone. The sport looks a bit like rugby. Common words in American football are touchdown, end zone, field goal and quarterback. The biggest signed contract in the NFL was made by Matt Ryan. He signed a contract for $223 million. Just like baseball, there are a lot of movies made about American football. Some of them are Friday Night Lights, Remember the Titans, The Blind Side, The Replacement and The Longest Yard. Basketball. Maybe you've ever heard the names Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal or Magic Johnson. All these names are the names of the greatest basketball players ever. In the NBA, teams from all over the country compete for the grand prize. Basketball is mainly played by African Americans since their physique of being tall and strong is essential in basketball. The game basketball also loaned itself for some blockbuster movies such as Space Jam, White Man Can't Jump, Coach Carter, Just Right, Hurricane Season and Glory Road. The game basketball. Basketball is played with 5 players per team, and every player can score either 2 or 3 points depending on from where the ball is thrown into the basket. The basketball can be advanced by dribbling or passing. A way that a lot of points are made are via layups, jump shots, free throws or maybe the most spectacular, dunks. The last one is where the player jumps and hangs onto the basket after dunking the ball into the net. Just like other sports, there is a lot of money to be made in basketball. The biggest contract signed not so long ago was made by Stephen Curry. He signed a contract for $201 million. Ice hockey. Ice hockey, or hockey in American English, is not as popular as the other sports mentioned before. This is due to weather conditions. Therefore, it is mainly played in the northern regions of the United States. Hockey is played from October to May, and the 3 most successful teams have been the Montreal Canadiens, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings. One of the most famous players is Wayne Gretzky, and maybe you've also heard of Mario Lemieux. The game hockey. Hockey is played by 6 players per team that have to score into each other's goals by using a stick and a puck. Since hockey is less popular, there aren't as much movies made. The most famous movies are Slapshot, Miracle, Mighty Ducks and Mystery Alaska. Main championships. Of course it's an achievement to play on the highest level, but once you've made it this far you want to achieve more. Make it to the championship rounds. After the playoffs, baseball players can reach the World Series. This can be seen as the World Championship for baseball. In football, the championship is played on a Sunday, called Super Bowl Sunday. Basketball players play for the Larry O'Brien Cup. And NFL players fight for de Stanley Cup. Nou, dit is een beetje hoe de presentatie eruit moet zien. Ik wens je heel veel succes met je eigen en ik zie ze tegemoet. 20 april is de einddatum. Heel veel succes.